Hi there. Can we talk? Today's video is not so much about cigars or bourbon or tobacco pipes, although I do have a cigar here, an amazing cigar, which went out. Need to relight. Today, I'm just gonna be talking. Hello there. Do you like videos where random people talk about stuff? I've been thinking a lot about myself lately. Not so much selfishly, but how to make myself a better person. The person that I think my family deserves. Not because I've been a terrible person, but just because, well, I'll get into it. I wish that I had known these things or implemented these things into my life years ago. And these are now things that I think are very important that I'm going to instill into my boys specifically. I want them to carry these things out into their own lives, not because I told them, but because they see it in myself. And so I'm working hard to implement these things in my life now. But there are things that I think I wish I had known when I was younger. Let me light this thing up again, because this is unbelievably good. Oh, okay. Don't take it into your lungs. There is a very long story that explains what led me to decide to make some fairly drastic changes in my life. There's just some things that I've done most of my life that weren't helpful in making me the person that I want to be. If you're like me, maybe these will be beneficial to you or helpful or make you look at things differently. I don't know. The first one, number one, is the realization that for the most part, even though people are wonderful, nobody cares about what you care about more than you. And nobody's going to help you achieve the things that you want to achieve more than you. I always, growing up, had this idea that if I was really, really passionate about something or really, really good at something, that I'd be discovered or picked up, or somebody would see this kind of hidden skill in me and take me to the next level and get me to where I need to be because I'm just really good at this. One door closes, another door opens. The things, the dreams, the passions, the skills, whatever it is that I wanted to implement into my life, whatever I wanted to do, I waited around a lot. I would kind of passively pursue things, thinking that if I take the first couple steps, someone else is gonna come along next to me and get me all the way. I just need to find that right person. There's somebody else I'm gonna meet that's gonna take me all the way. For the most part, for most people, if you wanna get somewhere, it's 100% on you. And your reliance on other people should be minimal to get there. I'm not saying you shouldn't involve other people. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm saying you should pursue it as if there's going to be zero help in getting you there. Only you will get you there. And really, when it comes down to it, that's the truth. Even if somebody else does come along, even if somebody else helps you out along the way, you have to pursue whatever it is you want to pursue as if you're the only one who's going to get you there, because in reality, you are. It seems stupid, seems obvious, but I lived most of my life thinking that somebody else was going to come out and get me to where I wanted to be. And for most people, that's not the reality. The next thing kind of goes along with that a lot, because if you get to the point to where you realize the only way you're going to get from where you're at to where you want to be is through you, talking to myself, there's a lot of things that I needed to change about myself. And the biggest thing is, it's a scary D word for me. It's weird to even say it because I used to run from this word. Discipline. Whew. I used to, not that long ago too, kind of ran from discipline. My goal for life was to have freedom in my life. And I wanted freedom because my family was the most important thing to me and is the most important thing to me. They're still here, they're right up there. And I wanted absolute freedom so I can enjoy life with them. The thing I didn't realize is that bypassing or running away from discipline was running away from the one thing that was probably gonna get me to where I wanted to be. For somebody like me who is a creative-minded person, who likes freedom, who likes to just kind of work when I want to work and do what I want to do, and I'm a free thinker and all of that. Discipline is I don't want anything to do with discipline. I hated it. Basically, everything that I wanted freedom-wise comes through discipline. If you want freedom of finances, you've got to be disciplined with your money and how you use it and what you do with it and how you achieve it and how you go after it. If you want freedom of health so you can do things, you have to be disciplined. I used to think like all I need is money. Money's the answer to everything. If I just had money, then I'd have the time to do anything I want. But I never really thought about like, yeah, unless you die or you can't do anything because you're so fat or unhealthy, all those things that I hated, that I ran away from, that I thought were the opposite of freedom, I just look at now like I'm a total idiot. This maybe isn't universal, but for me personally, the absence of discipline means weakness. It means you're soft and just kind of like the opposite of what I think is valuable in being a man. I look at culturally today, something the world needs is men to step up and be men. Discipline takes strength. It takes a real commitment. And the people that I used to look up to, I realized were disciplined people. But discipline is going to fall completely short. You're not going to be a disciplined person unless you know why you're trying to be disciplined. So understanding the why behind everything you do is so stinking important. And it's the reason why quite a few years ago, my family and I, we sold everything we owned. We were living in San Diego at the time, left my job, and we bought a travel trailer and just went on the road. We were seeking out freedom, but I needed to figure out some things in my life. I wanted to figure out what mattered most to me in the world. It seems like an obvious thing. If you ask most people, like, what matters most to you in the world, most people will probably come up with an answer, and it's probably the same answer I came up with. And people will say like love, people, their family. It's all kind of the same thing. I mean, it seems so obvious, but it wasn't real to me. I didn't understand it. I think my younger self, I just kind of did things without really understanding why I was doing them. What's the ultimate goal? Like, what are you working for? Like when you look at what you're spending the majority of your time doing during the day, why are you doing that thing? Like, what's the ultimate goal? Not even goal. Take goal out of it. Just why? To support your family. But why? Like, if you keep asking why, you'll eventually get at the bottom of why you do what you do, what matters most. And for me, it was a difficult thing it took 4 years to figure that out. And it's probably the same for everybody, but I think you have to get to a place of realization of what that means to you personally. It's kind of a blanketed statement just to say, my family, love, people, but to personalize that, what does that really mean? Could somebody look at the hours of your life and where you spent the majority of your hours? Could they figure out that, like, yeah, clearly family's the most important thing to that person. Look at what he does with his time or his money. So anyways, to drive discipline, practically one of the things I've changed about my life, which is a dramatic change for me, is getting up early. I always fought that. I always got up late because I thought, freedom means you can get up whenever you want. And so now I'm getting up early. Almost every morning when the alarm goes off, I do not want to get up, and there's mornings that I don't. But when I do, which is most mornings now, it's that why that gets me out of bed. Early on, I wish I would have spent more time figuring out the why in life. Next thing for me, which is kind of different than the other things, and this is probably more personal for me, but I've realized recently how much of my effort throughout the day to do things is based on pleasing other people, or at least meeting the expectations that other people have for me. The tough thing I've learned about that is that it's easy to become something different than what you should be, if that makes sense. The example for me in my life personally is one of my biggest motivations for doing almost anything is to make my wife happy, which sounds like, oh, that's so great. That should be everyone's motivation. If you're a female watching this, and you probably know this, but for most men, the thing they want most from their wives is to be respected. I don't mean respected like, do what I say, like respect me. I mean, they want their wives to look up to them, to admire them, to brag about them. They want to be seen as very significant, which maybe that's true for everybody. Maybe that's what girls want too. But for a guy, it's extremely true. And so the way that I went about doing that is just trying to do whatever my wife wanted me to do, or whatever she wanted me to be. And what I've learned over the years is that in order to be respected, to be somebody that's admired by others, admired by those you care about the most, it's such a cliche, but it's like, you have to be true to yourself, bro. This sounds so stupid. What's a better way to say that? Let me know in the comments. Seeking out the approval of other people tends to make you a weak person. Other people will push you off into different directions, and different people are going to want different things for you. Your parents, your wife, your kids, friends, people that, you know, your peer group around you. Like, all these different people are going to want different things for you. You need to be the primary driver, the primary source of becoming you. Does that make sense? No, I'm confused. Most people want to follow other people. Most people are somewhat weak themselves and kind of wishy-washy, don't really know what they're going after, especially when you're younger. For most people, they look up to other people. You look for leaders. And to truly have that respect that you are looking for, it means you've got to be strong in yourself, in your convictions, deep down in your core. And maybe you don't even know what those are, but that's part of the problem, is that we tend to just be so busy with life and doing things for other people and doing what other people want you to do, that you never dig deep inside yourself to figure out, like, who do you want to be? What matters to you? What drives you? What's deep down in your core? And figuring out a plan, a disciplined plan to get to that place. That's what people tend to admire and tend to respect, is somebody who knows deep down what their convictions are, knows what matters to them. So it's important, I think, at a young age to figure that out, to spend the time to figure that out. And even though I know that I probably couldn't have until later in life, but the pursuit of that internally is, I think, what matters, rather than letting other people dictate those things for you, which comes from trying to please other people. This video could go on and on. Maybe I'll make it a series. Maybe I'll make this a part 1, because it's going to change over time. There's things I'm learning about myself, things I'm trying to implement into my life as I learn and grow in this area. So maybe I'll make this a part 1, make this a series. I will leave you with one thing that was very eye-opening for me, was a book. Sounds boring, but if you're disciplined, read that stinking book. It's called The 4 Agreements. It's a book, tons of people have read it, and I read it, and it changed a lot about the way I thought about things. I would definitely recommend that book. I guess that's it. I'm going to end it here, because I have other videos I got to film. I got to finish this dang cigar. This is kind of a boring video, wasn't it? If you like these kind of boring videos, this isn't typical video, but if you like it, let me know in the comments. It's helpful for me to just talk through this thing. That's all this video was. This is for me, I suppose. Yeah, this is pretty boring. Hope you enjoyed it, though. If you liked it, let me know in the comments. And I have another channel, by the way. This is the ad. It's called Blackburn. I'll put a link to the description. Nope, I'll put a link to it in the description down below. It's basically a daily-ish vlog of what we're doing here in Tennessee as we moved from California to Tennessee to work on this property that we now have. It's a 200-year-old farmhouse and tobacco farm, basically. And we're renovating it. We're new construction. There's all kinds of stuff going on out here. If you want to follow that journey, check out that channel. Won't you? Okay, goodbye.